Broadcasting live from a hollowed out tree stump in the middle of no man's land. You reach Married with Comedy with Jeff Onyx and Joe Chandler. Strap in, boys and girls, and keep your arms and legs in the vehicle at all times, cause it's gonna get bumpy.
What's up? Okay, switch headphones. Gotta switch headphones. There, now I can hear. Because I can't hear out of those other headphones. But I can hear what's going on in the thing over here. Boom. Yeah. So what's up? What's up? Welcome to Married with Comedy. I'm Jeff Onyx. And on today's show, we're going to have Joe Chandler later on in the second hour, or around the second hour. And we're going to have James R. Freeman later on during the first hour. And I forgot to take my keys off. Hopefully you didn't hear those too much. Keys. So I got keys. So, yeah. So we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff today. Part of the show today, you're going to find out some interesting stuff about a beloved toy. So it's going to be like we're going to have a conjecture fact, and then we're going to have like a back in the day, which is also going to be like a conjecture fact. So, you can determine if you wanted to, be cool with that or not. So, excuse me, I burped. I shouldn't do that burped. So what's first on the agenda? I know what's first on the agenda. What's first on the agenda is, trivia. Aww, snap. Trivia, snap. Today's trivia question is, what is the softest mineral in the world? What is the softest mineral in the world? And here's a hint. I'm allergic to it, and a lot of people are allergic to it. So it's been around for a long time. Some companies have been sued over this one mineral that they still put in stuff. So that's the trivia snap. We're going to be doing This Week in Comedy History, but we're going to use last week's This Week in Comedy History because this week's This Week in Comedy History, I didn't feel like writing it. So we're going to do This Week in Comedy History. So this guy right here, David Herman, was born February 20th, 1967 in New York City and raised in Washington Heights, Manhattan, New York. He's an American actor and comedian. He's best known for as original cast member on Mad TV from 1995 through 1997. He was the only original cast member out of the original 9 cast members of Mad TV when the series began to have actual acting experience. So he's one of the only ones out of the 9 who started off. He's one of the original that started off on Mad TV, and he already had an established acting career. Okay. So he's also known, which I know him from this picture right here, also known for the character Michael Bolton in Office Space. He's also known for his voice work in Bob's Burgers, Brickleberry, Futurama, King of the Hill, OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, and Father of the Bride. So you might not know. Fun little known fact about this guy right here is, why is that door open? Little known fact, he attended the acting program at SUNY Purchase. So don't know what SNUY Purchase is, but that guy attended there. So yeah, that was This Week in Comedy History. Yeah. So we're going to jump in with the Ghetto Chef. Oh my goodness. Ghetto Chef. Oh my goodness. You guys, you're going to be in for a treat with this Ghetto Chef. And this, a lot of people think that this is this next thing is like a European thing. It's not really a European thing. It's just, is that a stain on my shirt? Man, that shows up really well on the screen. Like, it doesn't show up at all when I'm looking at it. I don't see anything. But that's like huge right there. Whatever, man. Alright, so what is this? Ghetto Chef. Boom. The Ghetto Chef today is, yup, smoky chickpeas on toast. Okay? Smoky chickpeas on toast. See if we can, like, can't zoom in on that picture? Man, I wish I could zoom in on that picture. Can I zoom in on that picture? Nope. I wanted to zoom in on that picture. Well, let me zoom in on the picture. Alright then. Well, that right there, oh, is an advert playing. I don't want the advert. Alright, so in their recipe, as you can see, that it's got so that there's toast, and then you put chickpeas over it, and then you put sunny side up egg. Another variation of this is just pork and beans on toast, or beans on toast. You could do beans on toast, pork and beans on toast with the egg or without the egg. Some people also do pork and beans with a piece of ham, like a slice of ham with that thing. Wow. Yeah, you haven't connected with our show in so many minutes. I'm glad you're like connecting with the show. Hi, Lori. Connecting with the show. Um, I wonder why it's chatting up there but not over here. That's weird. Like I can see her live chatting, and I can see me live chatting, but I can't see everybody live chatting. Huh. That's weird. It's weird that I can't see like the chat. Huh. Live chat. Oh, there we go. I can see it now. Boom. I can see the live chat now. So smoky chickpeas on toast, or like I said, pork and beans on toast, or pork and beans with ham on toast, pork and beans with ham and sunny side up egg on toast. Pork and beans on toast is, I don't mind pork and beans on toast. It's actually pretty good. Another thing I really like is chip beef gravy. Really like that. Biscuits and gravy. Really like that. Had chip beef gravy yesterday. Chip beef gravy is really good. So, yeah. So that's chip beef gravy. That's the Ghetto Chef. Ghetto Chef. Yeah. So let's turn off the Ghetto Chef lower thirds. And let's go back to this so you can see my pretty little face. You see my pretty little face. So here in a couple minutes we're gonna have Jay jumping on. James R. Freeman, or as I like to call him, Jay. He'll be jumping on with us here in a second. Why is that door open? There's a door behind me and it's open, and I normally close it. And now it's making me wonder why it's open. But then again, if anyone comes in, not anything, but if anyone comes in, these microphones are really, I mean, you can hear, they're really hot. Oh, excuse me. I would definitely be able to hear them come in if anybody came in. So, yeah. I set this up so that we can have certain things happen at a certain time, and we've been just trucking along. You know what? This is my thing. I rush the beginning a little bit too much, and I shouldn't. I should hold back a little bit and not jump on it too quick. So, yeah. I'm just gonna jump on the phone. See if he's there. Yeah. This is one of the favorite parts of the whole show, is getting people on the phone. Those other people, they do the newfangled getting people on like Zoom or something like that. Forget that Zoom stuff. We do it old school here, because this technically it's a radio show. not a stream. It's not an online stream. This is a radio show. So we do it old school this way.
Hello.
Hello, I'm calling for James R. Freeman. Is James R. Freeman available?
Let me check.
Hey, James R. Freeman, what's up? I rushed the beginning of the show a little bit too much. I do like 3 segments before I get you on. And this time I rushed it a little bit too much. We're only going to do one segment today with you, if you're cool with that.
Sure, whatever you need, man.
But I don't know if you've ever heard of this one. So we're going to just jump on into it. This is Conjecture or Fact. And on the phone with me is James R. Freeman. Conjecture or Fact. Today's Conjecture or Fact is the London Hammer. Are you familiar with the London Hammer? Have you heard of this?
Not familiar with the London Hammer. Is that a person?
The London Hammer is an artifact. So the London Hammer is also known as the London Artifact. Okay? So it's called the London Hammer because it was found in London, Texas in 1936. So it's basically a hammer made of iron and wood that was found in London, Texas in 1936. Part of the hammer is embedded in limey rock, a limey rock concretion. So basically it's embedded in a rock, right?
Okay.
So people are calling it an anomalous artifact because people are like, how could a handmade, man-made tool get encased in lower crustaceous rock? Because it's considered lower crustaceous rock. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is what the hammer looks like. It's hammer time. Hammer time. Huh. I'm letting people see what the hammer looks like. Yeah.
So have you gotten into the Tartaria stuff yet then, or the mud flood or any of that?
No, not yet. But we're talking about the hammer. Is this part of the mud? Is this part of the mud flood? And the mud flood normally happens after I go to El Magwe.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
It is. That's a reference to the diarrhea.
Well, and I'm wondering if it's not connected to the mud flood because I don't know if you remember all the state fairs in the early 1900s, late 1800s, and whatnot all over the world. But they had one in Chicago, and supposedly they put up these temporary structures. But I've been looking at like old, I guess, film, which I find very odd, but also pictures and whatnot of all the old structures.
Well, this hammer basically is embedded in rock that is dated 400 million years old.
Right. Well, you know what I think about that shit. So.
Yeah. I'm just saying. You know. So the hammer was purportedly found by a local couple, Max Hahn and a female friend. So Max Hahn and his female friend were out walking, and they were going along the Red Creek near the town of London, Texas. They spotted a curious piece of loose rock with a bit of wood embedded in it. They took it home. A decade later, their son broke it open and found the hammerhead concealed in it because he was like, why is there wood sticking out of this thing? So he broke it open, and there was a hammer stuck in it from like that long ago. So the metal hammerhead is approximately 6 inches or 15 centimeters long. So it's 6 inches long, so about a half a foot long. Okay. And has a diameter of about 1 inch. So it's not like a terribly large hammer, but like, you know, it's a hammer nonetheless. So some people they think that it wasn't used for like large projects, but for soft metal work, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, and the metal was confirmed to be 96.6% iron by John Thatcher. So it had 96.6% iron, 2.6% chlorine, and 0.74% sulfur.
Okay.
Okay. And then the hammerhead was not rusted. So, and it's also odd that it didn't rust. You know what I'm saying? So it was embedded in a rock and didn't rust, and it hasn't rusted since they broke it open in the 30s, in the 1930s. So like 90 years ago. 90 years later, this thing has not rusted.
Okay. Well, this doesn't quite apply to what I was going to say about like the mud
No.
flood and stuff like that, because I found a lot of like melted rock and then melted rock over structures and then metal things sticking up through rock and these weird. So that's what it made me think of, but I'm guessing that's not really the same thing.
No, probably not.
So what are they thinking? It's Thor's hammer or what?
Well, no. So
No.
the hammer, it got like a lot of attention, right? And then a creationist named Carl Bow, he bought it in 1983, and he claimed that it was monumental pre-flood. It was a monumental pre-flood discovery. So he speculated a bunch of stuff about pre-flood Earth and how the atmospheric quality and that there were giants, which is another episode. We're not going to get into that. Which is weird because the little tiny hammer, if a giant was using it, it wouldn't be that impressive because it'd be a little tiny hammer, you know.
That's funny.
So he took it to the Creation Evidence Museum and began to promote it as the London artifact. And then other observers noted that it's stylistically consistent with typical American tools manufactured in the region in the late 19th century, which is weird. That either A, it's a 1939 hammer that somehow somebody got into a rock, or B, it's an old artifact that says that people in the past made artifacts similar to what we make now. You know what I mean?
Agreed. And, obviously one of the questions would be, how did it get into the rock if it's a simple hammer?
Yeah, I don't. Well, what they're saying is, well, you mean, well, there's an. I'm gonna point that out in a minute. So according to these people, they think it's a miner's hammer from back before the flood of Noah. Okay, and the guy doesn't believe in 400 million years ago. He believes that the Earth is way more recent than that, and that this is just from a civilization that lived back then, and this is proof that all that evolution stuff is crap. That's what they're basically saying. Know what I mean?
This is proof that the evolution stuff is crap. Okay.
Right. Because this guy's saying, look, if we can't agree on something like this, that's obviously a modern hammer embedded in 400 million year old rock, either your dating system is wrong with the rock, or we have ancestors who had tools way back when. Either way,
which is also possible. It's possible both are true.
Right. Well, and
right.
if you had artifacts way back when, that messes up the whole evolutionary theory. And if that rock really isn't 400 million years old, that also messes up evolutionary theory because you can't age stuff back that far.
Well, and let's be honest too. The Bible doesn't actually say how old the earth is.
Yeah.
It simply lists the genealogy, and then if you go and look at the way Genesis is written, either they told the story twice, or it happened twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then let's not get into Genesis 1:26 where it says we made man in our image.
Yeah.
Well,
then again, a lot of people.
Don't give me the Holy Trinity, because through the rest of the Bible there ain't none of that talk about we and our.
Yeah, but they're saying that in the beginning was God, and like Jesus was with God and was God in the beginning. So if
Right, but it doesn't say that.
well, it says it in
And
the
the rest
NT.
of the and in the rest of the book, it makes no more references to we and our.
Yeah, but I'm saying that in the NT in the New Testament it does. Know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm
But
simply stating.
then
Yeah.
again, how do you know that God wasn't saying, "Hey, let us create man in our image," basically saying, "Hey, you angels, I'm going to create man in our image, in the image of, like us." You know?
Right, but then that would mean that the angels were made in God's image also,
Well, they were.
and then we've got another quandary.
Yeah.
Then, a lot of people believe that is the the other shoe that dropped that caused Lucifer to rebel. And it's like, oh, I see, you favor them, and little talking monkeys over there. Okay, thanks. It's real nice.
What, that he created angels in his image and then he also created man in his image?
Right, and then
And Satan
I'm
goes,
like,
"What are you doing, bro?"
wait, what? Were we a mistake? What happened?
Kids these days.
What
Well,
about
let's
us?
look at a conjecture to
Okay,
this whole
sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
so there's a guy that's an atheist that is like, "No, bro, you guys are totally stupid." I zoomed in too much. I zoomed in way too much. I'm trying to zoom out now. Okay, so there's basically an atheist who's like, "No, it's not that. You guys are stupid." You know. Oh, this one lists a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, never mind. I thought this was the atheist website, but it's not. The only
Like, oh,
proposed explanation is that this highly soluble material in ancient limestone may have formed a concretion around the object, thus making it seem as if it were as old as the minerals themselves. But this has not been confirmed. In fact, radiocarbon is yet to be undertaken for the hammer itself, which brings significant question marks for the date of the hammer. The hammer is now on exhibit in the so-called Creation Evidence Museum, which is also kind of unfortunate because curators don't allow scientific tests on the London hammer. So this guy's like, yeah, no, because the rock itself was just rock that eroded and melted and then formed around the hammer, and the hammer's not really that old.
well, and that's to be honest with you, not knowing exactly what's up. That's how it sounds. Like either that or you and I had talked about sound waves and using that to manipulate matter and whatnot. They could have manipulated the matter of the rock as a demonstration, and then just took this little bitty ball peen hammer and went, "Foop, see there?"
Yeah.
Or it could be like the sword and the stone is supposedly a real thing. I mean, I don't know about Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, how far that goes. I don't want to go off tangent there, except to say that supposedly the story about the sword and the stone
Is real.
that there was actually a sword that nobody could get out of this stone, and the dude was either smart enough to figure out how to get it out of there, or he knew the trick.
Yeah, well, a lot of people think that the sword and the stone was similar to that bar of gold, the bar of gold thing it was like at a casino or whatever. Have you ever seen the bar of gold? Or is it a
Uh,
museum? I don't know if it's a museum or a bank or what. Anyway,
uh,
it's a bar of gold in a Lexan case. And the bar of
okay.
gold is in the center of the Lexan case. And it's got a little tiny hole in the Lexan. And they said if you can get that bar of gold out, you can keep it.
Uh, uh,
So this
that's
little
kind of
kid,
small.
this little kid, I'm telling you, dude, this kid had to have been like 9, maybe 10. Sticks his hand in there, grabs this bar of gold without dropping it or anything. Just picks it up and just funk right out. And goes, "This? Are we supposed to take this out? Do I get to take it home?" And they're like, "No, no, no, no. You get this." And they gave him like the Gold Rush candies. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they gave him Gold Rush candies.
I would have gold rushed that gold out the door. I wouldn't even have been like, I just walked out.
And I've seen video of the kid doing it, and it was like pew, right out. And apparently after that, people have been doing it a lot. Like they know how to get it out of there. So they're like,
Right.
yeah, if you get that out of there, you win.
Yeah.
You win some gold candy.
All right. So, all right. So, what's your theory?
About the hammer?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the hammer itself is probably a modern hammer, and I think that because it's similar to limestone that's encasing it, that it was like in a mine or river or whatever, probably more likely in a mine, and then the um like it formed inside of a stalagmite or stalactite. I don't know which one the ones on the ground is. There's stalagmite and there's stalactite. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I can't remember either.
You ever been to the caverns over there near where you live?
When I was younger, I haven't been yet with the kids, but I plan on going.
So down over there,
Mm-hmm.
there's a cavern, and they show
Right.
you a picture of a whatever the hell it is, stalactite, mite, whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
in the 30s, in the 1930s, when the cave was first, like they started doing tourist attractions there, and then they show it over the years how it grew from the limestone eroding away above it. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Right.
the hammer possibly is a hammer from like 1910 or some junk like that. Like, and it's a miner's hammer. The way it's shaped like a hammer that you would strike a a uh, a chisel. You would strike a chisel to break a rock. You know what I'm saying? So it's a small hammer that would strike a chisel to break a rock. And they found it next to a river, but who's to say that that thing wasn't in a cave and then moved to the river? You know what I'm saying? That makes sense? You still there?
I'm trying to make sense of what you said. Okay.
Okay, so in a cave, somebody was working as a miner. They're mining,
Right.
okay?
Right.
And they're using a chisel and a little hammer. Okay.
Uh-huh.
They leave their hammer there, they drop it, something. And the hammer's sitting there, and it just happens to land where limestone um, deposit is dripping into a stalactite or mite. And then the stalaga thing forms around it. Okay. Then fast forward years later, and it's found next to this river, like 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, whatever. And it's found next to the thing. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, I like your theory.
And then when they broke it open, it looked like concretion because it was concretion. That it's a modern hammer, not modern, but I mean modern at that time, a modern hammer that was within 20 years of them finding it, and that it was encased in concretion that was formed through a stalactite or stalagmite being formed. Yeah,
It's pretty good. I like that. That's pretty good. But then that really shows their
gullibility.
you know what's no on the age,
Well,
right?
they're saying that the age of the limestone. Okay, the scientists would say that the age zone really is really really old, but what it does is it melts and then reforms. So it takes on the characteristics of the original rock because it was melted or eroded and then reformed.
Right. But I'm saying their aging is off.
Right, I agree with you. Their aging is off.
Yes.
We
That was my point of that. If what you're saying is true and it sounds plausible, I like it. At least gives you some idea of what's happening with that hammer
yeah yeah yeah
being in the rock. I mean, even if you could do it, why would you do it? So
Exactly.
I like the idea of it being set down and something dripping on it,
Right.
and then
Then it
at
wasn't
least
like it
yeah.
wasn't deliberately done to fool people. It was done in a way where um it happened naturally and people found it and then they just their belief system overruled on both sides. Their belief system overruled what reality is.
Well, it's like I told my wife, your belief system. Everyone believes in something,
Yeah.
even if you're the world's biggest skeptic and you think you don't believe in anything. The fact that you don't believe in anything is believing in something, because you believe that all those theories are bogus, that those people are either lying or somehow deranged or disassociative, you know?
Yeah.
So
Um
there is a belief system involved. I would say that part, who was it that said that? As soon as you have an observer, you screw up the experiment.
Lori was saying that she used to work for a magician and he would watch with a camera and whenever it was okay for somebody to pull the sword out, he would let them pull the sword out because he would like, you know, it was like electromagnet or something, I don't know.
Gotcha,
But then
gotcha.
she said BS to that, like it's BS. And then I was thinking, your belief system is BS because it's a BS belief system.
That's funny.
You like that?
Yeah, I didn't catch that. That's funny.
Yeah, because it's a BS. So,
Total BS.
wow, man, those segments were really good. You know what's messed up about that is that well, I guess I'm gonna have Joe on in a little bit here, but I've got 3 segments before Joe comes on. Do you want to hang on with another segment?
Sure.
Okay, this segment's called Back in the Day. Back in the Day. Are you familiar with the Back in the Day segment? You've heard of this before?
Well, I mean, I get the idea.
Back in the day. Okay, so back in the day, we had this thing called the My Buddy doll.
Yes.
Okay.
My buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
My buddy and me.
Yeah, my buddy.
Yeah.
So I would show you a picture of the My Buddy, but they're really evil looking, apparently.
They are a little bit. That's what the Chucky doll was based on, isn't it?
No, well, yes and no. So we're going to go over because this is kind of a conjecture of fact, and it's kind of a conjecture of fact and a back in the day. But I in the studio with me right now is my buddy. This is my buddy, a real pal in the box. This is a my buddy in the box,
Wow, but that's worth some money, dude.
and with my buddy and is oh, who is this? Oh, look, it's Kid's sister. Kid's sister.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, look at that. Kid's sister and my buddy
You
hanging
get
out.
your dolls lonely.
Okay, so first we'll explore the the um the truth that they're trying to push. Okay, you ready for this? The
Uh-huh.
the My Buddy the My Buddy doll was a line of toys made by Hasbro in 1985. Okay, so Hasbro made this doll. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and then they wanted to make a doll that appealed to little boys and teach them about caring for friends. And the idea was both innovative and controversial at the time because dolls were traditionally associated with girls. Girls played with dolls, boys played with action figures, but didn't play with dolls.
Right. Even though technically it's just a doll dressed up in boys' clothes. But
Right.
yeah.
So the theory
Excuse me.
is that the companion, Kid's sister, was marketed toward girls, and the My Buddy doll was marketed toward boys. Okay,
Interesting.
that's what
Okay.
they're trying to say on Wikipedia. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So then Hasbro discontinued the line before the start of the 1990s, and then Play School took over the production of it, making changes to the likeness of the doll. Um, and then here's what they're saying. Play School changed the likeness of the doll because My Buddy is one of several dolls said to be the inspiration for Chucky, the evil doll in Child's Play. Okay. The initial run of My Buddy had the following characteristics: a red baseball cap, brown hair, red, yellow, blue, white striped long sleeve shirt, red overalls with My Buddy, the My Buddy logo on the chest, white socks, blue shoes with a white stripe. The whole doll, besides the head, was stuffed with fabric. So everything was stuffed with fabric except for the head. The face had blue eyes, freckles, a button nose, and a smile. Okay. So that was the original. Okay. But
Right.
two versions of the dolls existed. There was a brown haired version, and then there was a blonde version. The blonde version had a blue baseball cap, blonde hair, red, yellow, blue, white striped long sleeve shirt, blue overalls with My Buddy logo on the chest. See the difference? So already they switched the hat. The hat was red, now it's blue. The overalls were red, now they're blue. With white socks, red shoes instead of blue shoes, with a white stripe. The whole doll, besides the head, was stuffed with fabric still, and the face had brown or blue eyes, freckles, a button nose, and a smile. And then there was another doll made after that. It was the African American version, outfitted with the same stuff as the brown-haired Caucasian doll. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the doll was released by Play School in the 90s, and it made all the clothing unremovable. You couldn't take the clothes off because it was
Right.
sewn directly to the body of the doll. And the kid's sister also released with clothes sewn onto the body,
Right.
making it virtually impossible to dress dress them in different outfits and stuff. And there were actually complaints. They wanted to be able to change the clothes of the little kids. They wanted to, or of the dolls. They wanted to be able to put on different outfits. So crazy, huh? But they did it because they didn't want to have to produce clothes separate. They wanted to just produce the doll, and they didn't want to have to do clothing separate because it costs more money to do that. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
So you remember My Buddy, wherever I go, he goes. My buddy, I'll teach him everything that I know. My buddy and me, like to climb a tree. My buddy and me, we're the best friends that could be. My buddy, and me. Yes?
Yeah.
So,
But what? So
fun
so
fact, my
what?
20-year-old cat is named
Uh-huh.
Buddy because my son used to carry him around like a doll and would say, "He's my buddy, he's my buddy." And he would sing that song carrying my cat. So my cat got that name from that. So what were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna say, did we do any research on what Chucky wore and how that relates to the original Buddy doll?
No, but we're going to get into some okay, who's being an SJW? Is it the Wikipedia or this other person? But before we do that, so Adult Swim Robot Chicken had My
Mm-hmm.
Stalker as a little doll, and then there was a parody of Clarence's little buddy doll in an episode of Robot Chicken.
Okay.
So
Wow.
crazy. Apparently, My Buddy has been in all kind of stuff. He was in Wanksta by 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? But with a gangsta look.
Yeah, I don't remember
Growing Pains by
that.
Ludacris.
Funny.
Okay. Here's one. The theme of My Buddy as my homie, as an homage to the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. I remember my nephew had one of them dolls called the Little Homie.
Lil homie.
Yeah, they were called Little Homies or something like that. And I used to call him little homie. And so when I saw they had those dolls, I got him one. And for like a year, man, you couldn't tear the doll away from him. And then,
Well, that gets into this. So, My Buddy was the first boy doll introduced in 1985. Okay.
okay.
And then Hasbro, during the Hasbro time, they made the My Buddy doll because of feminism. About 2 decades after feminism and the women's right movement was in full swing, many social pundits noted, with some with enthusiasm and with some disdain, that society's males were being forced into revealing their soft, nurturing sides. Even with this notion being benign, it was fairly revolutionary when Hasbro introduced the My Buddy doll. The company
That's
claimed,
hilarious. With 95%, maybe more, of the species on the planet, the male half doesn't have a nurturing side.
yeah. So
That's
Hasbro introduced the
hilarious.
My Buddy doll. The company claimed the intention of the doll's creation was to teach boys how to be more caring toward their friends. They went even further by adding Kid Sister doll to the collection, encouraging boys to be nice to their little sisters instead of engaging in the traditional teasing of their younger female siblings.
So then Wikipedia is stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
Because right there, they're telling you that ain't why they made the doll.
So
That's
that's what
fun.
these people were saying. They're saying that's why they made the doll because so in addition to the Kid Sister doll, Hasbro also did a Wink-a-Blink My Buddy doll that had movable eyes. Shut the hell up. They
Yeah.
also had coloring books, stickers, paper doll books, and other stuff like that. So this was like a big thing in the 90s. Okay. So in the 90s, dolls were aimed at young males, at young boys, to promote warmth and friendship. So a bunch
Yeah.
of companies decided they would get together and they would offer different boy related dolls at varying prices in different sizes. So some of the dolls that were introduced back then are Bratz boys. Do you remember Bratz?
Okay, vaguely, yeah.
So they had a Bratz doll called Prince Aiden as part of their Bratz Boys series. A 10-inch doll had changeable clothes and comes with a comb and a boy's wallet, which is different from a girl's wallet, apparently. Which, you know what's funny is I use a women's wallet just because it's smaller. They're easier to carry. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I get you.
when I go look for a wallet, I look in the men's section. They're all stupid. Then I go to the ladies section. I'm like, wow, these are cool wallets. So I end up getting like a camo one or a black one. Nobody can tell that it's a guy. It's not a guy's wallet. Anyway,
My father-in-law had this really nice wallet. And I was telling him how nice it was. Like, man, this is really nice. He's like, go ahead, take it. I was like, I don't need it. He's like, no, please take it. Don't offend me. Take it. So I took it. You know, I've never used it. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, man. I don't keep a wallet. And if I did, I sure wouldn't put my fucking money in it.
you put some of your money in your boot next to your boot shank.
Yeah, if you steal my wallet, you better really like wallets because that's all you're getting. That and some pictures of my kids. You kidding me?
That's funny. And
Like,
you
who
used
carries
to.
wallets anymore? I mean, a money clip. I'm a little older now, so I use a money clip.
Well, I had a money clip, and then I decided to just get a binder clip because then that way, if I lost my binder clip, it wouldn't matter.
I, dude, I remember I had a girlfriend one time who used to sew little pockets in my shoes for me. That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. Well,
She was awesome.
speaking of that,
Her name was Shelly.
Shelley. Well,
Yeah, I liked her.
speaking of
Anyway,
that, then the next doll introduced was called the Big Boy doll. It was a 30-inch doll, and it was handmade in Montana and constructed totally of cloth stuffed with soft batting material. It only weighed 3 pounds, and it was available on sale for $50. And you could still get it for $50. Big Boy, the Big Boy doll, 30 inches tall.
Okay, that's a big boy.
The Best Friend Club Inc. Best Friend Club the BFC dolls, made by MGA Entertainment, are 18 inches tall, dressed in trendy clothes, and come with boy purses, hairbrushes, a BFC membership card. The clothes are removable, and other outfits can be purchased, including a cowboy outfit, golfing clothes, and the doll costs about $30. And extra outfits cost about $20. You're telling me an extra outfit for a fucking doll costs $20? My outfit costs $20. The one
I
I'm
don't
wearing
even
right
want
now.
to get started, but these are the guys that are now wearing skinny jeans. I want you to understand that.
Well, what I don't
So
understand,
all you parents who bought these damn dolls for your kids in the 90s, it's all your fault.
I don't understand why they have uh cowboy outfit and golfing clothes, but they don't have a biker outfit or an Indian or a
So,
construction worker.
Taylor. Yeah, construction.
Get it? Get it?
Yeah,
The village
yes.
people?
YMCA.
Yeah. Or the little Rob Halford Best Friend Club doll.
Oh, God.
Is that a microphone in his hand? I don't know, but it goes right toward his mouth.
I don't know. Is it black or white?
Big Brother Boy doll. So the Big Brother Boy doll
Alright.
are soft-bodied plush dolls that are 14 inches tall and marketed as a gift for little boys who are becoming big brothers for the first time. So
Huh.
it helps them to get used to having a smaller sibling to take care of the doll, to get them used to having another kid around. So that way they're
Right.
nice to their kid when they get.
Right, because that was the problem with before those dolls. That was the problem with kids, is that when a new kid came into the family, almost all kids lost their mind. So no kids knew how to treat their siblings. So
Okay, here we go. Opinions abound in the effects of boys playing with dolls. Some profess that the practice will eliminate the manly man facade to the ruin of all humankind, and others maintain that promoting nurturing characteristics is a positive for both genders. Before investing in a boy doll for a gift, be sure and check how the child's parents weigh in on the subject. So if you're going to be getting a doll for a child of a friend, make sure, or a family member, make sure the parent is cool with that. Because
right, that makes sense.
we know somebody who recently had a birthday and they received some dolls that were kind of odd. Would you like to
Yeah.
share the oddness of the dolls? See how this
Um,
segued right into it's good for you to be part of this one.
that's so funny because that's it. Okay, so we don't buy the LOL dolls.
LOL. What's that?
The LOL are these weird big-headed dolls.
Okay.
And they're not really supposed to be anatomically correct. So I
No.
want to make that clear right now. And the girls have like a little pee hole right down there.
Okay. Are they usable? Is it like a Betsy Wetsy?
Well, yes, but we always kind of assumed it was because the they were like bath toys. You could play with them in the bath and whatnot.
Oh,
And
okay.
the way the toys are made, they are water resilient, if you will. So you can play with them in the tub if that's not exactly what they're for.
And then when you squeeze them, water comes out that hole.
Right. And the kids always thought it was cute and fun. But then we got one that it's funny because I say anatomically correct. But it looks like a it looks like a dyke doll. I don't know how else to explain it. I hate to say it that way, except for it doesn't look like what you would see nowadays. It looks like a 90s, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How they dressed and how the haircuts were.
Or
It
a
was almost like
modern
a way,
male
huh?
doll.
Right,
Because there's
but
a lot of
most,
males that look like that now with like colored
right.
hair and
The males look like that more like in the 80s,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was kind of like that, you know. But this one, it's like the hair and the look of it's like a 90s. Hey, I liked Madonna in the 80s and never quit dressing that way kind of look, almost, right? But
Yeah.
with that weird short haircut. So, anyways, and then I don't know, my daughter's she loves the little LOL dolls, right? So somebody got her LOL dolls for her birthday, which was recently, and of course she loves them, and I wasn't paying attention, so she gets the dolls. She sticks them in this little purse of hers, and she runs off, and everybody's happy. And later on, she's hollering, screaming, crying. She can't find her LOL boy. Her LOL boy, she keeps saying. I'm like, how do you even know it's a boy or a girl? You know, because the way the doll looks. She's like, because of the bottom. It has a thing, Daddy. It has a thing. And I'm like, it has a what? She said it has a no. And I was like, whoa, okay. So
That's the
for
picture
those
you sent me.
right, for those who don't know, at least when they were kids, now not so much, but when they were younger, we did hoo ha and no. And part of the reason we did that was because I kept getting headbutted in my no. So it just became the no spot. don't don't go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when he said that about the doll, that's what she was referring to. He had a no spot. And I'm like, oh crap. So I'm scouring the house, finding this stupid doll, and it's not just a no spot. It's got a twig and berries, bro. I should have sent you a picture of it. I
You
can't
did
believe
send me
I
a
didn't.
picture of it.
I did.
Yeah.
Awesome, because it totally has a twig and berries. Am I not?
I if I would have thought about it, I would have showed it on here, but
Oh my
I don't have
gosh!
time to show it on here. But
And
yeah.
I'm so mad, but also part of me thinks, I could sue LOL people. They're like, there was no warning on the package. Hey, this doll has a package.
Yeah.
It should be something like that.
Anatomically incorrect.
Anatomically correct-ish.
Well, did the package say anatomically confused?
I'm totally confused. That's so terrible.
This
And this is what I got to bring my kids up with, you know.
this doll may cause confusion.
And the best part is I think I handled the gender thing properly with my kids because they didn't freak out about the gender thing with this. They didn't even hardly notice that the doll looked confused about its gender, even though it had a twig and berries.
Yeah.
It's so funny because when my kids were like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a boy like you, Daddy," no, you never will.
No.
You can get all the surgeries and pills you want to, but you can never change your cellular
Oh,
design.
you're gonna get us banned.
You're stuck, And I just I didn't tell them quite like that, but I just told my kids, you're girls. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to be a girl. You're probably as tough and as strong and as fast as any boy.
Probably, you said.
But you're still a girl. My oldest, she got cut in line at school. Some little boy grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and the seat of the pants and pulled him out of line and said, "You don't cut in front of me, boy." And the teacher was just like, huh,
I gotta
do
tell
I,
you. I gotta tell you something.
do I get involved? I don't know. So, yeah, man, it's fine. There's
So
nothing wrong with being a girl anyway.
I ran into an African American person who was transitioning, and this
Oh,
person was talking to me, and I was like having a great conversation with this person, and then I noticed their shirt said melanin, and it had different shades of black people on the shirt, and I said,
right.
"Well, I identify as black," and they're like, "No, you don't." I go, "Yeah, I identify as black. I identify as having melanin." And they're like, "You don't have melanin." Yeah, I identify as having a lot of melanin in me. I do. No, if we did a test, you wouldn't have any melanin. Well, if we did a test, you wouldn't have the chromosomes that you think you do. All right? And
Right. That's
that
funny.
person walked away mad at me.
I
Well,
love it,
but I
man.
was, I was, honest and truthful. Whatever, man. Whatever.
Well, and I think I told you about that story about that dude named Marilyn, or the dude who I can't remember if I even knew the dude's name, but he insisted we call it Marilyn. And it was like this weird, I don't know, like upper echelon drag queen.
Huh.
And it was telling me about all the stuff that would be going on in 20 years. I lived in Key West briefly.
Yeah.
I was engaged to get married, and we went down there to get married, and she convinced me to stay down there. And then like 6 months later, tried to wander off and go date some freaking bouncer at a bar.
So what you're saying is that somebody tried to give you a glimpse of the future and you were like, nope, that ain't gonna happen. And then it happened.
Well, here's the irony of it. It's so weird because now that I look back on that situation, I realize what was really happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Remember
Eh,
when we used to sit around, was it 10, 11, 12 years ago? And we'd sit
yeah.
around outside at DeCarlo's and we would have conversations with people who were talking to me and about this stuff. And I was trying to share with them the path that it's going down logically. This is the path it's going down logically. If you stick to what you're talking right now, this is where it's going to go. And they were like, it'll never happen like that. It
And
stops
it's
here.
so yeah, it was so gradual that they don't even remember the conversation that they had where somebody said, "Hey, this is what's about to happen here in the next couple decades." They're not even going to remember that.
Yeah. And if
And
they
they're
do, and
part
if
of
they
it
do
now.
remember it, they would reject the fact that somebody called them out on it back then.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So with the Maryland thing, what I realize now is that what I was dealing with was I don't want to say a possessed person, but certainly a perfectly programmed person. Okay. Someone who really believed that NAMBLA is okay.
Yeah. They were
That,
sold out
yeah,
on the whole thing.
right. That a 15-year-old boy, if he's willing, is fair game. You know what I mean? And when you start that conversation, then the gay straight thing doesn't make sense anymore, because then it's not about that. It's
Yeah.
about being a predator.
Right. Right.
Because you prey on a 15-year-old because they're easier to get to, they're easier to convince, they're easier to mislead.
Well, possibly on a future
That's why you're
episode,
supposed to wait until they're 17 or 18, so that the person has the mental capacity to at least
make a
make a
decision.
decision.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
In the future, we're going to have a guest on who might have a regular segment. And the segment might be something around the lines of Marty Rants.
That'd be awesome, man.
So, because Marty and I were talking similar to what we're talking right now, and he had like a whole rant about this topic, and I'm like,
See,
okay,
you don't remember? You don't remember me doing jokes about urinized conversations?
yeah, yeah.
I still have those. I still have those index cards and stuff.
See, I'm like the inspiration for a lot of comedians. Most of them just write jokes directly about me.
Well, and I did that whole like 10-minute bit about the Rainbow Warriors. You know, the guys running around with their underwear hanging out of their pants and shit.
Was that me?
What's that?
I used to run around with my underwear hanging out of my pants.
Well,
Actually, I used to run around just wearing underwear.
it's one thing like if you're a plumber and your cracks hanging out while you're up underneath my sink, serves me right for not being able to fix my own sink,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's another thing when you're running around with your gun and in your belt, and then your pink and green polka dot underwear all bunched up sticking out of your back. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Look, me, you're surrounded by dudes. Nobody wants to see that.
If you start taking off running, what's going to happen is your pants are going to fall down around your ankles, and you're going to drop your gun, and you're going to accidentally shoot yourself.
You're gonna fucking shoot yourself in the foot, idiot.
And then you'll be easily caught by the popo. They'll arrest you.
It's so crazy. It's weird, right? And then the thing that people don't really know, and it's so funny because I'm pretty sure Tupac knew this when he was sagging his jeans all over the place.
It's a prison thing.
It was a prison thing. It meant you were either gay or you was at least open for business.
It's saggy pants and slippers. People are running around with slippers. You see them at Walmart. Saggy pants and slippers. Oh,
what is that? That is so weird.
I saw this really, really, really like mean looking guy who wanted to be like so OG, like gangsta. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Right.
And he had like the tattoos and the chains, and he was like all tough and everything with his pants sagging down, and they had huge pink bunny slippers on. Giant bunny slippers.
You remember I was telling you at the beginning of this whole pandemic thing about them dudes that was running around, masks on, all hard, guns hanging out, and I'm like, but you have a mask on your face to save lives, and a gun on your hip to take them. I don't understand.
No, dude.
You're slanging and banging, bro. You got a big old red do-rag hanging out your pocket, red mask on your face.
I made a vegan cry.
What are you doing, dude?
You got to hear this story. I made a vegan cry. You ready for it?
All right, but I just want to say that I think that 1984 was not a threat.
Yeah.
Or a warning. It was a promise. Go ahead.
It was a blueprint.
Yes.
So there was this vegan, and the vegan was telling me how me eating meat was bad, and how they're a big vegan, and all these reasons why they're a vegan and why they eat vegan, and why like none of their clothing is made from anything that has to do with animals, and they don't do leather, and nothing they own has anything to do with animals, like even in their vehicle, and none of it has anything to do with animals or whatever. And I said, but you got the vaccine, right? They're like, yeah, why? Well, that was derived by using animals, right? And they're like, no, they did the testing before with animals and stuff, but the vaccine I'm taking right now, it had nothing to do with animals. Really? You ever heard of a horseshoe crab? They're like, no. What's that? Well, you see, a horseshoe crab, they use it in hospitals and in laboratories and with vaccines and things of that nature to make sure there's no bacteria in the items, in the tools, in the tubes, in the needles, whatever. So when they're manufacturing those needles to give you your vaccine, they're using horseshoe crab blood to test for bacteria. So if you got the vaccine at all, well, you got horseshoe crab blood in you. And the person was like, you're lying. I pulled it up on the internet, showed them the horseshoe crab, showed them the blood of the horseshoe crab, and they showed them what they do with the blood of the horseshoe crab. And the person started crying. Called me a dick. I was like,
wait till they find out that the Hydra is not only real, but they've injected people with this damn thing.
I'm just saying, dude, not that many people know anything about these things. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it's one of these weird things that's immortal. Like it's an animal that you can put it in a blender and blend it up, and the dang thing will reassemble itself. And it's supposedly natural. I don't know how natural that is, but yeah.
That ain't natural.
Yeah, and so if you take into account all the stuff they're finding out now, it's not too far to throw the stone to actually hit water, dude. There's something going on there, man.
You're hitting water, you know what I'm saying?
And I don't know, man. The coroners are coming out now, so
we were gonna do the react thing to react to that video of that comedian, but I forgot to put it on here, so I can't show people what I'm talking to you about.
Well, that's good because I need to get my laptop set up so that we can, so I can actually interact with what you're showing people. Make it a lot easier for me.
Yeah, yeah, we should do that sometime. Well, I'm actually gonna let you go because in 10 minutes I'm gonna be getting Joe on here, and I'm gonna try to get my other segments in before Joe jumps on. Okay.
All right, man. You can tell
Hey.
Joe I said hello, Joe.
All right. Later, G.
All
Jay.
right. All right, bro. Later.
Bye. Oh, that was nice. That was James R. Freeman. Yeah. And he was helping me with back in the day. Back in the day. Yeah. So, the Outpost Survival Tip of the week is alternative fire starting devices or techniques. We got these for Christmas. My wife and I got these for Christmas, and I'll do the top down so you can see what I'm looking at. It looks like a pen. Looks like a pen. Easy light. Has this slider on the top here, and then it has a button on the bottom, and then it has, what's that, like a sensor, whatever, and it's got like a tapered end. Okay, so basically what you do is you push the button, and then it lights up, and it just shows you how many bars it has of energy. Let's see how many bars of energy it has, and then after you push this down like that, then you push this forward. So here we go. Push it down, push it forward. See that? It arcs. It arcs across there. And that creates a flame. Oh, you can actually see it. Look at that. So it creates a flame, and that flame is so hot that it starts to fire like real quick. Like you can, and because it's not an actual flame, you could do it upside down like that. So if you have like a candle you need to light, you could do it upside down like this and light a candle. So that's we've been using them for that, lighting candles and stuff like that. And I think it's rechargeable. I think that little hole right there is a chargey port, so they're rechargeable. Let's see if I'm correct. Yeah, that's a micro USB chargey port. Oh no, I hit the wrong one. That is a chargey port, micro USB charge port, so you can charge your stuff. So the Outpost Survival Tip of the week is an alternative starting, the fire starting thing. The benefit of something like this is if you put this in like your car bug out bag or whatever, it doesn't matter if it's windy. This thing will start up even if it's windy. I've also lit wet paper and wet things on fire with this because it's so hot that it arcs across there, dries up whatever you're trying to light, and then it lights on fire. So, and you could do it in any direction. So if you had to light something like this down like that, in a survival situation, let's say you have a can or something, and you have tinder and flammable stuff in the bottom of a can, and you wanted to light that can or a stove or whatever, like to use it as a stove, you can get down in there and light it, and you don't have to worry about you know the flame coming up at you until it's lit. And then it'll come up at you. You just go like that. So there you go. Outpost Survival Tip of the week is consumables. No, is lighter. Alternative lighting devices. All right. So hey, I also forgot to mention that if you want to send us fan mail, you can send fan mail, care of Comedy Vets, P.O. Box 369, Lathrop, Missouri 64465. If you're an angry feminist and you're mad at it's something we got going on here, you can send hate mail, care of Comedy Vets, P.O. Box 369, Lathrop, Missouri 64465. That again, fan mail, care of Comedy Vets, P.O. Box 369, Lathrop, Missouri 64465, or hate mail, care of Comedy Vets, P.O. Box 369, Lathrop, Missouri 64465. 64465. Yeah. So cool. So let's recap. We've done the trivia question, which is what mineral is the softest mineral? What is the softest mineral in the world known to man currently? We did This Week in Comedy History. We did the Ghetto Chef thing. We did Conjecture of Fact. We did Back in the Day, which was also a Conjecture of Fact. We did the Outpost Survival Tip of the Week. Oh man, we've got like 4 or 5 segments left to go. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have some fun. And then here in a couple minutes, anytime now, we'll have Joe on the show. And Joe will jump on and he will be part of the show. Joe's gonna be part of the show, so yeah. And if you're chatting, like they can't examine the MC Hammer. If you wanted to chat, like Melissa, Mrs. Onyx is chatting on the YouTube chat, and Lori is chatting. So if you wanted to chat like that, talking about the London Hammer, Mrs. Onyx said they can't examine the MC Hammer because you can't touch it. Can't touch this. I just noticed she said that. That's really funny. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun today. Did you guys like the opening? I changed the opening at the beginning. I don't know if you noticed, and I changed the lighting in here, and I changed the sound in here. So the lighting a little bit better, the sound a little bit better. But at least I think it's a little bit better. You may not think it's a little bit better, but I do. And then the only bad thing about the lighting is you can see every little imperfection on my shirt. And in the normal light, I can't see any of that. So I have no idea what that is. Like from the lighting we can see in here, that looks like peanut butter or something. But when you look at it without the light, there's nothing there. I don't see anything there. So you know what? I'm not going to wait for him to call. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him. I'm not waiting for him to call me. I'm calling him. You hear that? We're calling him. We're calling Joe. Joe Chandler. Joe Chandler. Joe Chandler. Chandler Bing. Chandler Bing. He's not going to answer the phone. I sent him a message saying we're on for tonight. He's not answering the phone. Did it go to his voice?
Please leave your message for 8.
No. Oh well. Well, we're just going to move on without him. So, you know. I'm just going to send him a message. Boom. I sent him a message. You going to be on the show tonight, Joe? You going to be on the show tonight, Joe? What's up, Joe? You be on the show tonight, Joe? Joe could be on the show tonight. Yeah. I really didn't want to jump into the music appreciation thing because then we'd have Joe on the phone and then he wouldn't have any idea what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I'll just reread the trivia. Oh, we already did reread the trivia question. So, yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on. We got stuff going on here. You know. Well, I'm moving on. Here we go. Boom. We're gonna do music appreciation. Boom. Music appreciation. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about music appreciation. We're gonna talk about. Bam. Fear. The band Fear. Um, the band Fear. I've got this CD. Well, I'm going to show you top down. We got this CD. More Beer. Fear. When I first started listening to Fear, they had cassettes. They didn't have CDs back then. They had cassettes. So I was listening to Fear um, when they were doing music on cassettes and stuff. So yeah. So Fear, just so those of you who don't know, Fear is an American punk rock band from Los Angeles, California, formed in 1977. The band is credited for helping to shape the sound and style of Californian hardcore punk. The group gained national prominence after an infamous 1981 performance on Saturday Night Live. Frontman Lee Ving has been the band's only consistent member since its formation. The band has gone through various lineup changes, and at one point featured Flea playing bass. Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Later a member of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know. The classic Fear lineup existed from 1978 to 1982 and was composed of Lee Ving, guitarist Philo Kramer, bassist Durf Scratch, and drummer Spit Sticks. Spit Sticks. In the 1970s, Fear was formed, you know, like 1977, like I said. And then it was not only Lee Ving, who at the time was the singer and guitarist, I think he still is singer and guitarist, but Durf Scratch, who's the bassist, was also a co-founder of the show there. They recruited guitarist Burt Good and drummer Johnny Backbeat. In 1978, Fear released the single I Love Living in the City, which, great song. Shortly after this, Good, the guy named Good, Burt Good, and Johnny Backbeat left the band and were replaced by Philo Kramer and Spit Sticks. So, yeah. So the band Fear. This is the band Fear. Yeah, Fear. Here, let's let you look at Fear. Boom. So, you know, you get the classic Fear brass knuckle rings, and you got classic. See, it's reverse. So when you get punched, it leaves the mark, the word Fear, on you, and then Fear. That's the band Fear. This More Beer was actually one of the first albums that I heard from the band, Fear. You've got The Mouth Don't Stop. The Mouth Don't Stop. The Trouble with Women. The Mouth Don't Stop. That's the actual song. Responsibility. More Beer. Hey. Strangulation. I Am a Doctor, which is a great song. Have a Beer with Fear. Bomb the Russians. Bomb the Russians. Good song. Welcome to the Dust Ward. Great song. Null Detector and Waiting for the Meat. Waiting for the Meat. I believe they also did a Book of Matches at one point or another. I think Fear is the one that did a Booga. A Book of Matches. A Booga. A Book of Matches. They did that song. A Book of Matches. So, yeah. Fear's a good band. I'm glad they're still like out running around and stuff like that. I think we saw Fear. Maybe we didn't see Fear. My wife and I have seen a lot of bands, punk bands. We like traveling around watching punk rock music. So, you know, You may enjoy watching the punk rock music. We enjoy watching the punk rock music. So, yeah, music appreciation. Fear. Punk rock music. Fear. We're trying to get Joe on the phone. And if he doesn't answer this time, we're just going to skip it. Skip to the next segment. Nope.
Please leave your
Nope. Okay. Well, we're skipping it. Skipping it. Where is it? Boom. Pathetic pet of the week. The pathetic pet of the week. Boom, boom. We're also trying to get a sponsor for the pathetic pet of the week. So hopefully that'll come around and then we'll be able to do the pathetic pet of the week and have a sponsor as part of it. This week's pathetic pet of the week is May. This is May. Say hello, May. May in a little sweater. May. May in a dress and May in a little sweater. May is a Japanese chin. Adult female small. Good with other dogs. Has everything health-wise up to date. Meet May. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Zoom in a little bit. Adoption fee is $300, includes 2-week trial to ensure everybody's happy. May was recently retired from a breeder. She's a Japanese chin. When she joined her foster home, she was pretty fearful of everything. We don't think she had much human interaction in her past. She has come a long way this past month, and her personality is starting to show, and she's becoming a joyful little dog. May's been learning all sorts of new things, like going up and down stairs, being petted and scratched. Petting and scratching is nice. And learning to potty outside. She still has a ways to go on learning how to potty outside because, a lot of times when a dog hasn't learned how to go potty outside, sometimes it's hard to convince them to go potty outside. So, she's got that going on. Let's see, where is she at? May does well with dogs of all sizes, but doesn't appreciate ones that are overly playful or obnoxious in her face. May will sit on your lap, but is not something she enjoys at this point. So she doesn't like sitting on your lap, but she'll do it if she has to. Okay. May would be best with with older children, and we only say that because she's still skittish, and toddlers or they do a lot of running around and stuff will probably scare her. Any kid that's running around freaking out, they'll scare a little skittish dog. Should also do best with a standard fenced-in yard. Due to her not being housebroken, an apartment life would probably not suit her, as she will not use potty pads. She's been spayed, has dental work done, like her dental stuff has been checked out. She's been vaccinated, been heartworm tested negative, she's been microchipped. If you have interest in adopting May, you can contact furrykidsrefuge.org/adoption, furrykidsrefuge.org/adoption. So, May, $200, you can adopt May. And again, here are some of her pictures. May in a dress, May in a sweater, and May just hanging out on a rug. That is May. You may want to adopt May. If you decide to adopt May, that's cool. Miss Chickabay and May, and the Tay Sway and the Wayne. Okay, so you can adopt May. So, well, I'm gonna try Joe one more time, and if I don't get Joe on the phone this time, I'm just gonna do the next segment without him and say he's not gonna be on the show tonight. Yep. Which I don't blame him because I've been flaking the last few weeks. So, You know, if he's got other stuff to do, that's cool. You know, don't hold it against him that he's not answering the phone. I don't. Jay and I really do make a great team. Oh, thanks, Mrs. Onyx, for saying that. I really appreciate it. Jay and I make a great team. Nope. What? You
Please leave your message.
You remember. All right. So that was the pathetic pet of the week. Boom. You know, I'm just going to have to do the next segment by myself. By myself. This is the breakdown. I'm going to break it down. Where is it? Breakdown. I'm going to be breaking down Wayne's World. Wayne's World. For those of you who've never heard of Wayne's World, you've got Mike Myers, not the serial killer in the movie Halloween. Mike Myers and Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live fame did a movie called Wayne's World based on the Wayne's World sketch that they used to do on Saturday Night Live. So here's the basic synopsis of the thing. You ready? Wayne is still living at home. He has a world-class collection of name tags from jobs he's tried, but he does have his own public access television show. A local station decides to hire him and his sidekick Garth to do their show professionally, and Wayne and Garth find it is no longer the same show. So they do the show for a TV station, and it's not the same. Wayne falls for a bass guitarist and uses his and Garth's video contacts to help her career along, knowing that Ben Oliver, the sleazy advertising guy who's running their show, will probably take her away from him if they fail. So, yeah. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll hurl. So, yeah. Boom. We're not going to play the trailer. I don't know why the trailer keeps trying to play. I don't want to play the trailer. Is it playing the trailer? No, man, I don't want to play the trailer. Good. I don't want to play the trailer. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll hurl. Wayne's World. So, party on. Excellent. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, boom. All right. Well, that was the breakdown. Oh, so I guess I got to break it down. I just told you a little bit about it. Okay. So, we'll actually break it down. Okay. I'll break it down for you. All right. So, and spoiler alerts. Okay. So, Wayne and Garth are doing a public access show in Wayne's basement, and their friends, a bunch of heavy metal guys who like, you know, hair metal, heavy metal, rock and roll, whatever, run the show. Like they do the switching and stuff like that, and then they beam it to a public access television station, and the public access station airs it on their thing live. So they have different guests and things on there. Well, in this movie, there's a guy who is trying to get it on with a girl, and the girl is more interested in Wayne's World than she is with him. So he's like, I wonder who these people are. So he tries to find out as much information as he can about them, and then before he even talks to Wayne and Garth, he goes to a television station and sells the idea of putting them on the air, and gets a sponsor and everything. So he sells the idea to a sponsor, gets them on the air, and then he goes and talks to, or gets them, gets the deal done. Then he goes to talk to Wayne and Garth, gets them to agree with it. They do the show. It ends up not being a very good show. And there's various scenes or whatever where Wayne and Garth, they have a relationship issue because things have changed so much. And then Wayne is sent off to go cover a concert, an Alice Cooper concert, and actually gets a backstage pass and goes and hangs out with Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper and his band are there, and they're talking, and they're saying things really, really smart, because they're really, really smart. So you know, so that's what. Oh, anyway, so then Wayne has the hots for this chick. By the way, their heavy metal bar. They got a rock and roll bar in this movie, and the music is not rock and roll. It's more like poppy music. It's not really heavy metal or rock and roll. So how do they call it a heavy metal club or a heavy metal bar? Because it's not. There's nothing heavy metal about it except for a couple of the people in there who are dressed sort of heavy metal, but the music isn't even heavy metal. Anyway, well, it's just this pet peeve of mine. Don't call it heavy metal if it's not heavy metal. All right, so then Garth is trying to, or Wayne's trying to bang this chick. Garth, he's got the hots for this other chick and is afraid to say hi to her, afraid to talk to her or whatever. But he has daydreams about talking to her, but never does. Oh, and Al Bundy's in it as the restaurant owner, and he's really bitter because at one point or another in his past he may have killed someone, and they had to do it. It had to have been something that had to have been done. So anyway, if you've never seen Wayne's World, I would suggest that you go watch Wayne's World. Hopefully they're not. It was made in 1992, so hopefully they're not going to redo this movie and screw it up like they did other movies that were iconic to the 80s and 90s. So like Bill and Ted, I think they messed that whole franchise up. The first movie was fine the way it was. You didn't need to go making more of them, and you didn't need to reboot it. So hope nobody reboots Wayne's World. All right, so let's see. We're gonna get back to the boom, 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 boom. Hey, man. Trivia snap. So the answer to the trivia question. Okay, we're going to recap the trivia question. The trivia question this week was, what is the softest mineral in the world? A lot of people are allergic to it. The answer is talc. The softest mineral in the world is talc. So, yeah. So that's it. That's basically the whole show. That's basically the whole show. The whole show, don't you know? That's the whole show. So, yeah. All right, then. Well, I go like this. And then I go like this. Boom. You've been listening to Married with Comedy with Jeff Onyx, with special guest and co-host James R. Freeman. And we were going to have Joe on here, but maybe Joe will jump back on next week. All right. Married with Comedy. Yeah.